Everyone, welcome back to the Rose Herd. I'm Katrina, and if you're new here, this channel is all about my family's adventure as expats or immigrants here in Merida, Mexico. In today's video, I'm sharing my personal experience of getting my Mexican residency. Now, I won't be giving like step by step instructions of the process because it can look different for everyone. But I wanted to talk about what the experience was like for me, what I learned along the way, and a few tips that might help you if you're thinking about starting this process for yourself. It was definitely a journey with a few surprises. If you saw our last video about our emergency trips to Belize, because we kept getting those 6-month visas, and I'm like, no, I need a short stay visa so I can get my things here, and a whole other manner of stuff. But I'm so excited to finally have my residency and share this part of our story with you. But before we get into this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. We'd love to have you as a part of the herd. And now, let's go. So the program that we used for our visas was the regularization program, or that NRE, RNE program that you've probably seen going around. So basically, what that means is that we had visited Mexico a few times before during the set time frame that they had. So I know that they've extended it for 2025, so you should be good to go for that. So we actually visited Mexico in 2022, just a vacation to Cancun, and then we had came here again for our exploration trip in June. And I had also been here in 2008, and I came back in August of 2024 as well. So I'd been to Merida to Mexico 3 times before actually coming here, and the rest of my family had been here twice before moving here officially. So with that program, we did not have to do a lot of the other paperwork and visit consulates in the US and have financial solvency. So that's what really, really saved us, because I don't know what the numbers for 2025 were, but I think you had to have like $60,000 or something in savings for like a year, and you had to make maybe 3,500 or $4,000 a month um, of income for at least 6 months before having a residency here. And for things like my grandma, she's retired, she's on Social Security income, she's not meeting either of those requirements. So we went with the RNE program, which was a godsend. And then we also decided to do, I did 2-year residency. My sister just decided to go and get her full 4 years. And then my mom and grandma also did their 2 years once they did theirs. So I did my residency first and got mine expedited. If you've seen our other videos, you know that having things shipped with DHL or international shipping, they're always talking about like, oh, you need a visa, you need a visa, you need a visa, but the language doesn't translate. So when they're saying visa, they mean residency. So when we got here, I thought, okay, once I have my FMM, I could give them the green light. Go ahead, we're here. We have the 6-month visa. They were like, no, you have to be a resident. And so I'm like, oh crap. So I had to expedite my visa, which is why we went to Belize to get the 7-day visa, which they gave us 10 for, and then paid extra to expedite it. So as soon as my 10 days expired, I had an appointment the next day already waiting for me. And I used Servicios Legales de Merida. So that's Valeria and Arturo, and they are great. They both speak English, and they literally just walked us through everything. Like, message her on WhatsApp, I'm like, what do I need? She would tell me, this is what you need, this is how much, and they handle everything else. So I didn't have to make my own appointment. I pretty much just showed up with my papers, my passport, and my money, and I'll share all of those documents and what the costs were for 2024 when I did this. So here are the documents that I needed to complete the residency process. First is the passport, obviously, and this will show them your entry stamps. So for this program, I needed to have visited Mexico at least 2 times prior to applying. So that would show the entry stamps of when I came here and left. So in 2022, and then 3 times for 2024, June, August, and then it came in October and left and then came back again when I went to go get my grandma. So, and then also Belize as well too. So leaving to go to Belize and coming back, it showed all of those stamps. The expired FMM form, and then the completed residency application and the interview application. So the service that I use, Servicios Legales de Merida or Legal Services of Merida, they completed all of those for me using my information. And then I met with them maybe like 30 minutes before my interview time to sign all of my documents. So I didn't actually have to complete those on my own. And they came with the last document, which is the interview confirmation form. So they used a contact to help expedite my interview, and they came with those papers. I showed up with all of my other documents plus some others just in case. I always like to be prepared, but this is pretty much all I needed for the interview. And I'm going to take you guys with me to see what that day was like for me. Hey everyone, it is November 19th, 2024, and I'm on the way to the immigration office to do my interview for my residency card. If you guys saw in a previous video how Kendra and I had to take an emergency trip to Belize to get a 7 or 10-day visa so that we could get an expedited residency card. So this is the appointment for that. A little bit nervous about the interview, but we will see. Stop it. We will see how it goes. All right, we just finally found some parking and we are walking up to the immigration office to go meet my lawyers. You guys may have seen her in a different video. She's been in a lot of other YouTubers' videos. Valeria from Servicios Legales de Merida, so Legal Services of Merida. They speak English. They're super helpful. Prices are very fair for the services that they provide, and whenever they're doing like stuff for you, they always come with you as well to help with any like translation and making sure that you understand what's going on. So I definitely appreciate them, and I will tag their information in the description box as well so that you guys can use it if you need so. So we're at the office. They're doing renovations, so the waiting room is outside under a tent in the parking lot with vans, but we're just waiting for them to call for the 11 o'clock appointment. Just waiting. A little bit hot, but we'll get there. Okay, so once I went inside, obviously I was not able to record inside a government building, but Valeria came with me and she stayed with me pretty much the entire time while waiting. They give you like basically a number and tell you which window to sit in front of. They were doing construction on the inside, so it was a little bit different. I was basically sitting behind the woman who reviewed my documents. She took my folder and my passport, and she went through every single page and then was inputting things into the computer. She only asked a few questions. Normally sometimes there's more interview questions that you have to be prepared to answer, such as why do you want to live in Mexico? What do I do for work? Like, where's your income coming from? So if you did not know beforehand, you cannot work here. when you come to Mexico unless you have been invited by a Mexican company and you are applying for a working visa. Even as a resident, you cannot work here. So your income needs to come from whatever country you are coming from. So if you're from the United States, you need to get paid in US dollars. If you're coming from Canada, you need to be getting paid in Canadian dollars while you are here. Some people, start their own businesses and they accept pesos. You can also do that as well, or charge in your country's currency, but you cannot be employed by a Mexican company. So just know that. They would ask things about, while I'm here, where are you living? Simple things like that. They may go into more depth depending on what program you're using to get your visa, but mine was pretty simple. And then after that, I had to basically pay all of the fees. And then I waited my turn. It took me to another part of the building where I waited, and that's where they do your fingerprints and take your photo for your residency card. So, as I explained earlier, I expedited my process. So, the appointment wasn't too long, and I received my card on the same day. Sometimes it can take up to 2 weeks, maybe even more, to get your card, but I needed to have mine in hand that day so that we could continue the process of moving here because, as you can see behind me, this room is pretty much empty right now. So, because of those delays, and then also the strike with the longshoremen, everything was getting pushed back already. So that took some time. So we should actually have stuff this week. Yay. But yeah, so I needed to have that card in hand, and I will give you the cost of everything in a bit. All right, everyone. So now I am an official resident of Mexico. I got my card same day. It was pretty easy. It was mostly just waiting and going through documents and more waiting, and then, doing your pictures and scanning your fingerprints and all that other type of stuff that they do in government offices. But I am about to share the steps that I went through to get this card today, especially the expedited process for those of you that don't meet like the income requirements, because there was no way that I was meeting that and having that in savings. But there are other ways to get your residency, so I'm going to share that with you right now. So here are the fees for the special residency program. The first is the application fee of 1,702 pesos, the penalty fee of 2,171 pesos. Now, this penalty fee is part of the RNE program. The penalty is for letting your visa expire, basically, and overstaying your welcome. So that's just a part. If you're going to do this particular program, know that this fee is coming. I went for the 2 year residency this go around, and that was 7,984 pesos. Now, my sister went ahead and did the 4 year, and that's 11,985 pesos, but I wasn't ready to do that yet, especially since I had to do the expedite fee as well. So the attorney fee was 5,300 pesos, and that expedite fee was 5,000 pesos, which is why I only did the 2 year. Adding that on to it just wasn't feasible in that moment. But after my 2 years, I can apply um, for another 2 or 4 years, and then I can apply for permanent residency. So you have to be here for 4 years before you can become a permanent resident. But I think that they're trying to change that. So it's possible that after my 2 year, I can go ahead and apply for permanent residency. So that's the goal. And I won't have to do the penalty fee all over again. I won't have to expedite all over again. I would just pay for the application and the permanent resident fee and possibly the attorney fee because I'm not sure what that process for permanent residency looks like. And that brings our total cost to 22,157 pesos or $1,069.56 USD with today's conversion rates. I think at the time when I did it, it was 1,100 and some change total. As a It was a little bit lower. Then I think it was $1 to $20 or 20 pesos and 30 cents, and today's rate is one USD to 2071 pesos. So it's a little bit better for today. So now I am a full-fledged temporary resident. Got my card here, and that means I don't have to carry my passport around anymore. But having this CURP number, or CURP, if you've seen it around, means that certain things are more accessible to you. So now I can get an RFC number, which is a free thing, and that means I can open an actual like Mexican bank account here. We do have a Mexican bank account at Intercam. If you saw that video, um, and that one a lot of expats use because you don't have to be a resident here, and we kind of use that for household expenses. But for having like my own personal like checking account here, I can now do that. Um, and when they ask for ID, like this is what I use when I go into certain places. Um, yeah, but I mean, all of that for that little card, but it's so worth it. I can leave and come back to Mexico as many times as I want, which I'm actually doing quite soon. I'm taking a trip back to the States for like 2 weeks, and then coming back. Um, and so I don't have to worry about, being in the tourist line anymore, which is so helpful because those lines are so long, and put it with global entry. Beautiful. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you have any questions about the residency process here in Mexico, specifically the program that I use, or if you want to know about the services that we use to get our residency, just leave us a comment, and don't forget to follow us on Instagram as well too. You can send us DMs there and kind of see what we're doing in the day-to-day outside of YouTube. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.